Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum takes place April 17th. The matchup was supposed to happen for the world title a couple of years back. Gastelum was on a difficult losing streak, has bounced back since then. Robert Whittaker on a 2-fight win streak since dropping the belt to Israel Adesanya. I still think this is a really exciting matchup, even though, it's not for the world title. Gastelum's not riding that same momentum he had at that point. Very intriguing style matchup. Kelvin, very good wrestler. Also excellent boxer, comes in the southpaw stance as well. Big straight left hand down the line, has put a lot of guys to sleep. If we look back at his record, some impressive knockout wins. Robert Whittaker, obviously an impressive resume as well. The 3-fight losing streak was rough, but had a really good performance against Israel Adesanya. Competitive fight against Darren Till, and a heel hook to a submission specialist, Jack Hermanson. Very forgivable losses. Beat Jacare Souza in 2018. Knocked out Michael Bisping in 2.5 minutes. Obviously, the loss to Weidman there, but has beaten guys like Vitor, Tim Kennedy. Pretty good resume in the middleweight division. Granted, not Robert Whittaker's resume. Whittaker having beat Yoel Romero, that's a huge victory. The rematch, competitive fight, maybe could have been a draw. He maybe could have lost it, but was given a decision there. And was on a beautiful streak up until Israel Adesanya knocked him out. He's beaten a lot of the top guys in the world. Beat Darren Till in a competitive back and forth striker's dream fight. That fight was awesome. Dominated Jared Cannonier, who a lot of people felt was a serious threat to Robert Whittaker. Could potentially be fighting Israel Adesanya and give him problems. Robert Whittaker is one of the best in the world. And he's continuing to show that. I think title shot with a victory here for Whittaker. For Gastelum, probably not, because he has the 3-fight losing streak. But still, if Gastelum wins, huge fight. Betting odds right now, obviously Whittaker's opening up. Big favorite. Minus 275, whereas Gastelum is at a plus 220. I'll be honest, this is a good fight. It's a fun matchup. It's going to be a tricky bout for both men, because I think stylistically it's competitive. Whittaker very good with his submissions. Is not crazy unorthodox like Jack Hermanson, where he's going to catch Gastelum in a leg lock. Very unlikely, knock on wood. I highly doubt that happens. If it does, I'll be mind blown. Kelvin Gastelum, very good wrestler, but isn't a grinding style wrestler where he's going to just look for takedowns and to hold Robert Whittaker down. I believe he will mix in takedowns with his striking attack. That will open shots up, and I think he hits Whittaker with some good strikes here. I think this is really competitive. I think this is a fight that puts Kelvin Gastelum's name back on the map, but I don't think that he's going to beat Robert Whittaker here. I think Whittaker just technically better, especially striking. His movement is excellent. You saw how he shut down Jared Cannonier. Cannonier is a beast. Granted, very different style as Gastelum. I think this fight is a lot closer. I think we're going 5 rounds here, and I think both men will be ready for war. I think we have an excellent battle. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think that Robert Whittaker gets the decision victory here over Kelvin Gastelum. If you look at Kelvin Gastelum's career, not a guy that's been knocked out. Was dropped badly, obviously, against Israel Adesanya, but his chin holds up very well. His losses are by submission. I don't see Whittaker with the style to submit Kelvin Gastelum. Isn't a guy that's going to be like Jack Hermanson, as I mentioned, very unorthodox, odd techniques. He's not a dominating wrestler like Chris Weidman, and much bigger than Gastelum as well, so he can't really put him on his back and maybe get an arm triangle. Gastelum's takedown defense definitely holds up. High-level matchup, I think the grappling cancels each other out. Maybe Gastelum puts Whittaker down, but Whittaker will be back up. His takedown defense is very good. Gastelum on the feet, though, the southpaw stance will be tricky. I think Whittaker does get hit with some strikes. I could see a 49-46 scorecard, maybe even a 48-47, but I think an action-packed fight, definitely without a doubt here. Riding Robert Whittaker for the win, probably a decision. If he stops Kelvin Gastelum, it would be by knockout, but unlikely. Gastelum is not an easy guy to put away. He's only 29 years old, and Robert Whittaker's only 30. Both these guys are in their primes. Huge fight here. If Gastelum is able to win, brings him right back to the top. Don't think he does. I think Whittaker gets the victory here, unanimous decision, and I think he further cements his claim at a potential rematch with Israel Adesanya. And no matter how you beat Gastelum, beating Gastelum's an impressive win. He gave Adesanya, besides losing to Jan Blachowicz, his toughest fight ever. He was the hardest match we ever had at middleweight. Took him to the absolute deepest of waters. And I think that Robert Whittaker will have a competitive fight with Gastelum as well. And I have Whittaker winning this bout and probably earning that rematch with Israel Adesanya. Should be a great matchup. I cannot wait to see this fight. Looking forward to it. This was the early prediction and breakdown for the battle. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also follow my social media, Instagram, Twitter, and I will see you all in the next video.